Hey everybody, welcome to Nutri-iQ Radio, where we talk about all things food, fitness, and feeling good. I'm your host Shaun here, and this is a pretty big week for us here at Nutri-iQ, so I'm just going to jump straight into the news. If you've been listening for the past few weeks, you'll know that we were due to launch the Nutri-iQ app and the Smart Plan this Monday. However, due to some unforeseen technical difficulties, we've had to delay the launch until next Monday. We came up against a few bugs, things weren't quite connecting right in a few places, and we didn't want to release anything out to you guys that wasn't totally ready. So we made the very late decision, literally around 1 a.m. Monday morning, to delay the launch by 1 week. That's going to give us time to get all of those little things fixed, get a few other things tightened up that we wanted to as well, so that when we launch now on the morning of Monday the 8th of June, the Nutri-iQ app is going to look amazing and you'll be able to download and get started with your smart plan in just a few easy minutes. Oh, one other thing on that, and part of the reason we hit those bugs is we've made one pretty big change in this past week to how the app works. The initial idea was that the entire app was a paid subscription for you to be able to get your smart plan. But we've been thinking in the past few weeks that we wanted to have some kind of free version. We really felt that the benefit of the smart plan, being able to create a meal plan that's tailored to your lifestyle and personal calorie needs, was just too good and too helpful to people to sit behind a paywall. We wanted it to be something that everybody can access and get the benefit of, and now it will be. From Monday, you'll be able to get the Nutri-iQ app and create a smart plan completely free. That means you'll get 3 meal ideas for breakfast, 3 meal ideas for lunch, 3 meal ideas for dinner, and up to 3 meal ideas for drinks and snacks, all tailored to your lifestyle and portion sized to you and your goals. Plus, those meal ideas refresh every 2 weeks. And if you want to get full access to our recipe library, change it up and choose all of your own meals and be the first to use all of our new features coming soon, you'll be able to upgrade to Smart Plan Plus for just $5.99 per month. So whether you're planning to upgrade to Smart Plan Plus or just try out the regular Smart Plan for free, make sure you download the Nutri-iQ app when it launches on Monday the 8th. And that's the news. So let's get into the good stuff. This week, we've got an interview with Zirak Pajnigar, better known as Z. Z and I became friends a couple of summers back when we were both working at a kids' summer camp out in America. We were both on the fitness team, helping the kids find fun new ways to be active. And really quick for anybody listening with kids that are thinking of doing Camp America, or if you're thinking of doing it yourself, make that happen. It is a fantastic experience that's so hard to explain if you've never done it. Just make it happen, trust me. And actually, that's kind of the topic of the whole interview. Trying new things and getting over that fear of what could go wrong for the excitement of what could go right. We recorded this interview a few weeks ago, and I felt like this week was the perfect time to bring it to you guys. Have a listen. Z, welcome to the show.
Shaun, thank you very much for having me, man. Long time no see.
I'm going to say this again because I said it at the start of our actual conversation, but I'm so happy to see your face.
Yeah. It's so good to see you again, man. It's so good to see you again. It's been a while, too long.
Yeah, I know it has. And that stuff we're going to get into later about where we met and all that kind of stuff. But what we wanted to get into first is what you were doing before that, and it's kind of going to be the theme throughout the conversation, I think. So just get straight into it. You told me way back, well, I knew you because you were at camp as a fitness counselor because of the kickboxing you've been doing at uni. Yeah?
Yeah.
But before uni, am I right in saying you had never done kickboxing before?
No, never.
Had you done any kind of like martial arts at all before that?
No, it's something I've never done before. I mean, sport and like the gym was the only kind of exercise I'd ever really done. So kickboxing or any kind of martial arts was not in my wheelhouse.
Yeah. So it was just totally new for you. So let's just kind of get into the story of that then. So what made you want to start kickboxing in the first place when you got to uni? What was that?
Well, that's the thing. I mean, I was at university in Southampton and I'm from London. So I was already in like a new setting and I was surrounded by all these kind of new obstacles, make new friends, study a new course. And so I thought I just really want to mix it up. I don't want to try out for the football team or anything I've kind of done before. I thought as I'm going through this period of change, it'd be nice to kind of carry on with that. And I love kind of keeping active and keeping fit. So I thought I'd try something new and something quite interesting and fun that I've never really done before in terms of sport, and that's where I kind of found kickboxing. Um, and from there, it just really spiraled out of control. I tried it brand new. I went to like their open day kind of thing for it. I tried out some of the moves and everything, and they were like, "Yeah, yeah, it was a good go," and I enjoyed it. It's something that kept me active, and it was exercising, and it was something fun. I was learning new skills that I could apply to everyday kind of life, not just the physical aspects of it, but the kind of discipline that it eventually kind of went on to teach me as well. So then I started going to classes every Tuesday and Thursday. And from there, just training regularly, I ended up being really good. And by the end of it, in my third year, I was competing at a national level, which was for like the WACO GB events, which is the World Association of Kickboxing, a World Kickboxing Organization. And yeah, from there, I went from being a complete novice and like having never done anything before to in 3 years competing at a national level, which was really good. It was very inspiring for myself and for other people. I'm very glad I did it.
Yeah, and that's the kind of thing I'm hoping that people listening to the podcast might sort of get from it as well, that kind of inspiration, because it is an awesome story. You know, you went from having no idea what kickboxing was all about to just going, yeah, go on, I'll give that a try. It's a new thing. To then 3 years down the line, you're competing at a national level. Like,
Yeah,
that's amazing.
it really was. And yeah, that just comes from trying something new. And for me, it became. I think the reason I got kind of so good with it is because I did enjoy it. I
Yeah,
did really enjoy it, and I think that's the biggest secret to kind of success is that you're not going to do well in anything if you don't kind of give it your all, and you won't give it your all if you don't enjoy it.
yeah.
So it's you gotta just keep trying new things till you find something you love because there's definitely something out there for everyone, I think.
Yeah, so on the flip side of that, you know, you said you started kickboxing during that society when you started uni because there were all these new things going on. Did you try any other societies out or throughout uni and thought, yeah, this one isn't really my thing?
Um, Not really. I mean, I did football and kickboxing. I thought I'd do something new and something that I was kind of familiar with as a backup kind of thing.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
but for me, kickboxing was just so good, and I loved it so much. And the people there that I left football after I think 3 weeks,
Hmm.
and I just kind of focused all my attention on kickboxing because I was so engrossed and I just enjoyed it so much. I wanted to just give it all my attention. But no, I didn't try any of the other kind of sports or anything else that was out there. I think for me it was just I was interested by kickboxing because I'd always watched like UFC and things like that, and it kind of triggered. I was like, yeah, I've never actually done anything like that before. I played a lot of other sports, outside of any sort of competitive environment. You play basketball with your friends maybe, and maybe play a bit of tennis in the park. So I wanted to just kind of flip it completely for me. And I was like, well, I've definitely done nothing like this before. And I think that's what really drove me to kickboxing as like a martial arts. But yeah, I think I was just really lucky to find something first time
Yeah.
that I just really enjoyed. So yeah, definitely very lucky, I'd say.
Yeah. I know I asked if you tried anything else and thought, no, this isn't the one for me, but I kind of love the fact that you were doing football as well. Like you were already doing the normal sport for like
Hmm.
guys in university or any
Yeah,
age
yeah,
really. And you were sort of had that there as a backup of, yeah, I like football. That'll keep me active to sort of keep you ticking over. But then
yeah.
when you found kickboxing, just this thing out of the blue, it just took over everything else. And I feel like that's even better than trying something else and not enjoying it because
Yeah,
you were already enjoying football, and then this was just
yeah.
amazing, a whole different world kind of thing.
That's what I mean. It shows you that you can try one new thing and it can overtake everything you've done before that. So
Yeah,
there's just so many reasons to try something new because it could be your new favorite thing. And for me, during those 3 years, that was like my favorite thing. I enjoyed it way more than playing football. And when my friends would kind of go to the park, I'd be putting in some extra training with kickboxing, and they'd be like, "Wow, you really do enjoy this, don't you?" I'm like, yeah, I mean, you should give it a go. And I'd invite friends to come and just try like some of our training sessions with us. And it was something so different and moves that they've never really done before that you're just inspired by it. You're like, wow, yeah, I've never done anything like that. It's a workout, but you're learning these practical skills that could come in handy if you ever, God forbid, a fight or anything like that. But the discipline it teaches to like follow one coach and to have everyone else kind of under his wing. It's truly a humbling experience when you see people kind of going through that process.
Yeah. And that sort of overarching thing of trying something new because you never know what might happen, like I said, is going to be the thing that keeps coming back up in this little conversation we're having, because the other thing that we wanted to talk about and bring up is, like I mentioned earlier, where we met, which was Camp America, which, if anyone is American listening, is just summer camp. But
summer camp, yeah.
For us, it's, if you don't know what Camp America is as a listener, it's this thing that you do. You've probably watched it on American TV. The kids go into summer camp. They make jokes about like magic camp and space camp and all that, usually on TV shows. But basically, American kids go to these summer camps. Sometimes they go there like for a day at a time, for a weekend, or like where we were, the kids are there for the whole 7 weeks of summer type of thing. And me and Z met at a camp over in America as both as fitness counselors, and that's where we became friends. So with camp, for both of us, that was a new thing, something that we both obviously thought, yeah, I want to give that a go. And, we both loved it. But, there are people who obviously get to camp and they do not enjoy it. And, you kind of can tell that straight away. But for your side of things, what was your thoughts on going to camp in terms of, what made you initially think of going?
So for me, it was actually ironically a poster. I was in the library studying one day, and there was a leaflet on the table next to me about some kind of open day for camp where someone would come in and kind of talk about that. And it was actually ironically on the same day. And it was like in like half an hour, 45 minutes or something. I was like, you know what, that sounds pretty interesting. I could do it with a break from revision. I was like, there's no harm in just going there and just finding out what it's about. I'm a very kind of extrovert kind of person. And I'm very excited to like meet new friends and do these kind of things. So I'm like, you know what, this looks fun. There's like kids on slides and, there's sun beaming and you've got these great like majestic mountains in the background. I was like, this looks amazing on the leaf. I was like, of course I'll go. So 45 minutes later, wherever it was, I went there. And there was no one in that room. There was just a big kind of like projector with the kind of PowerPoint on it, like about camp, but there was no one there. I waited around for a little bit and no one turned up. So when I went home that day, I kind of just Googled it, just like summer camps in America, et cetera, et cetera. And it was just a spiral from there. I watched videos on different camps and the counselors there and the kids there, and I fell in love with it. And before I knew it, I was sending my application at like 2 a.m. and just trying to get ready for that summer.
Yeah.
And that's how I found it.
Yeah, so it's quite a long process, isn't it, to actually get there once you've decided to go.
Yeah.
I think that process it's quite a good one to go through, because it's not just like kickboxing, for example. You went, yeah, I'm going to give that a go. And then from the first session, you found out, yeah, I'm good at this. This is going to be fun. With camp, it's like, I've made this decision. I'm going to go. I think it's going to be fun. And then you go to, maybe your open day, or maybe you just do the online application, and then you get placed at a camp and you're like, cool, I'm going, it's confirmed. And then you're like, right, now I need to travel to London. Obviously you were already there, but then I had
your
to travel
embassy
to London,
appointment.
do your embassy appointment, get your visa sorted, do all these other things. And then comes the point of actually getting to the airport and going. So in those few days before, how were you feeling? Were you nervous? How was that? Because again, it's doing this new thing, and you've already had the nerves of pressing the button to confirm you're going to go.
Yeah.
And then it's a whole new set of nerves to go, oh my God, now I'm actually going.
Yeah, you're right. It is it's a big commitment to make, because you're right, it's not like something you can just go try out immediately. It's months and months in the process, because you're right, it takes months to pay all your fees, which is like £400 and above. You have to get your flight sorted. You're right, you have to get your DBS checked, so they have to make sure you're safe to work with kids, which is a whole process, but in and of itself. You need to have your medical check. So you need to get your GP, and they have to do all the physical and mental checks on you to say you're okay. You need your medical history. You then need to get an embassy appointment, which in and of itself is very difficult to do, because there's a whole kind of questionnaire that can take you hours on end to kind of complete. So there, you're right. There is so many things to do before you finally get to that stage of finally, like, this is what I've been trying to do this whole time. So that feeling of excitement was built up over many, many months, over paying the fees, over doing the background checks, over having my interview, over interview like with the camp I was eventually going to go to. The open day, you're right, which is for first years only, where they bring you all together and tell you what to expect from camp, how to kind of go through the visa process, which can be quite daunting for many people, to eventually packing for camp, like the things you're going to need and what you should kind of take with you and what you shouldn't take with you. So I remember being at the airport months after submitting my application and thinking, let's go. I'm so excited to finally go out there and meet these people that I've been kind of emailing and talking to for a while now, and to finally kind of, be out there and in America, which I'd never been to before, working with over 500 kids and everything. And it was amazing. It was everything I expected it to be. And 4 years later, I've still been going back to camp.
So you've been doing 4 summers of camp now?
4 summers, yeah. It was just, it went from something of, I'll see what it's about, to being one of the biggest things I talk about. Like, my friends just hate it when I talk about camp, because they're like, oh, here he goes, off he goes again, just talking about camp. And it's such an amazing experience. Like, I've absolutely loved it, and that's why I try and go back every summer. And I've been doing so for the last 4 years now.
Yeah. So obviously, what we did at camp was we were both fitness counselors, like I said. And with you saying you were generally into keeping yourself fit and active, and then got into kickboxing, what made you decide to be a fitness counselor at camp? Why go and coach kids in fitness?
So when you kind of start your application, it has a list of skills and qualifications that you select, and based on that, it will recommend what it thinks you'll be good at. So for me, it was mainly sports and activities and keeping fit. I studied sports science at university, so for me it was a natural thing. I've always been interested in fitness and obviously martial arts at that stage as well then. So for me, everything skills based for me was kind of focusing on becoming a fitness instructor. I wanted to be a specialist, as I heard being a cabin counselor or general counselor was kind of working with the same kids and taking them from activity to activity, which is really fun. But for me, I wanted a more well-rounded experience in terms of working with all age ranges of kids. And one of the ways to do that was to be a specialist counselor. So it recommended 2 things for me: being a lifeguard or being a fitness instructor. And for me, I thought being a fitness instructor would be something that's in my wheelhouse. It's something that I've been doing for a while. I've been coaching already at that stage. So for me, it was something I thought that I'd be really good at, and it's something that I definitely enjoy as well. So that's why I came to choosing to be the fitness counselor at that camp.
Yeah. And how did you find it then, being a fitness counselor? Trying to manage a load of kids and getting them to be active on days when it's really hot outside and they don't want to be doing anything.
It's fun, man. I love the challenge, because kids, they're always going to say the damnest things, and it's just a whole experience. I mean, some you're going to have that really enjoy it and really want to get involved and just have fun, and there are going to be some that are a bit more of a challenge. There's that kind of catch-22 mentality that kids will have of, why do we need to do fitness when we're at camp and we're doing sports and stuff all day? Fitness is slightly different in that it's harder to try and get them to do, which is one of the things I enjoyed about it. It was like, oh, but we're playing soccer, we're in the pool, we're working all the time, so why do we need fitness? And it was trying to sell them that idea of why fitness was important. You learn so many kind of motor skills. There's so much kind of teamwork involved, because a lot of what we do is team-based, whereas being in the pool or playing some other sport isn't necessarily so. So it was involving them in a whole new world that they kind of didn't necessarily enjoy when they were at school, because they were just told to just do laps in like their PE class or fitness and whatever. So they didn't really have a very positive idea from when I first started to eventually it being something that they really enjoyed. And I think you'll definitely find or say the same thing, in that some kids just loved coming to fitness because of who we were as people and because of the things we did and the fun games and stuff we used to play. It was a really enjoyable program that counselors and kids just kind of usually they love to come and be a part of.
Picking up on the fun games and the different activities and stuff that we mentioned there, obviously right now, I mean, I don't know if things are going to change by the time this podcast or this interview goes out. But right now, obviously, kids have come off school way earlier than everybody expected. They're in their house more than they usually would be. And so I'm sure there's going to be a lot of parents listening that are maybe wanting their kids to be a bit more active, or even before that, trying to get them off the Xbox and onto the bikes or whatever. So from what you've learned or what you've picked up over the years of what you're talking about there, getting the kids from that point of not really wanting to do it to trying things out, playing new games, fun things, and then loving it, what kind of things might you suggest for maybe any parents listening that are trying to get their kids to do the same?
I think the main thing is to do it with them, is to show that you're excited about it as well. If you kind of just tell them to go outside and just exercise, no one's going to do it. If you say, hey, like, let's play a fun game, me and you, kids are already that they feed off your energy. If they see you buzzing for something, they'll be buzzing too.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that we found at camp is, if you show you're motivated and you show you're excited as a counselor to be a part of it and do it, the kids are more likely to do it because they look up to you. As parents, whether you realize it or not, they definitely look up to you. If they see you doing something, they're more likely to do it, as opposed to just kind of telling them to do it. So I would say lead with enthusiasm, be open-minded yourself, and realize that this isn't just for your kids, but it's also something for you. It might be something that you've never really done before, and it's something that you might enjoy. And it could be just another way for you to bond with your child, I think.
Yeah. Last year was your first year at a new camp, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. Yeah. Yes, yeah.
So you've obviously made that decision to try camp out in the first place. No idea what it was going to be like, whole new experience, and then absolutely loved it. And then you decided you were going to go and do a different camp, which again, now you've got the experience of being a counselor, you know what that's about. But then it's a whole new thing of new kids, new place, new colleagues that you're working with. What was it like that time going into that new experience again? Were there any nerves, or were you just excited to start again?
I think it's very much a mixture, because camp's one of those things that where you go to your first ever camp, you fall in love with it and you love it from the very beginning. And I definitely did with mine. And that's why I'd gone back to it for 3 years. However, it just came to a point where I wanted to try something slightly new, both be it a summer camp and roll. So that's why I kind of made the decision to leave my camp after 3 years and try a different camp for my 4th year. And it was a mixture of both, because I at the same time knew what to expect. I knew what I'd be getting involved in. I had the experience, obviously, having done 3 summers previously. I knew what I was going to be getting in for, but there's still always those nerves of it's new people all over again. I've got to kind of start from the ground up, leaving the comfort of my home for the summer for 3 years, where everyone knows me and I know everyone, to being someone who doesn't know anyone, who no one recognizes. And I think that was the biggest challenge for me, was after 3 years, I could go back to my camp and everyone would recognize me and I would recognize everyone. You become this family over the summer. Mm-hmm. And to leave my family and to join another one is very daunting at first. You're meeting people all over again and you start from the ground up, but I absolutely loved it. And once again, I'm glad that I was open to risks and new chances and new opportunities. And I'm glad I took it, because I've definitely made some friends for life at this new camp, as I have made friends for life at Equinox, of course.
Yeah. And like I said at the start, that's the kind of theme that keeps cropping up with what we're talking about in terms of the kickboxing, going to your first camp, your second one. It's just all about taking those risks and trying something new when, a lot of people can get scared not to try new things because you don't know what's going to happen. But for me, and obviously it sounds like for you as well, that is the same reason for why you should try those new things, because you have no idea what's going to happen.
Yeah,
And if you're stuck on thinking, oh, but what's going to happen? It could be all bad things. You're never going to do new things,
that's
and
the
you
thing.
never know what could be. Whereas if you think, oh, well, oh, what could happen? And if you just say it differently, you open up to so
That's
many new
that's
things. And
exactly it. It's the way you frame it. It's the way people look at it. People look at new things as a chore. They look at it as something scary. They look at it as uncertainty as a risk in negative aspects. They don't look at it as, you're right, this could be a chance for a fresh start, a beautiful thing. They always see the negatives of trying something new. They see it as dangerous and something that they're going to shy away from, and something that might not be for them. But they never see the other side, which is it could be something that they absolutely love and they kind of follow through with for the rest of their life. As is, camp and kickboxing for me, two new things I tried and two things I absolutely love. So yeah, it's just, I think it's how some people view it. Me and you are very much the same in the sense that we see new things as something that could be exciting. We see it as things that we might fall in love with and enjoy. Whereas I know most people have that mindset of something new is something dangerous, is something that it might not work out. But yeah, you're right. It's how people frame it, I guess.
yeah, and if you can frame it differently, there's so many amazing things out there that you literally don't see coming because you don't know what it's going to be like. And if you can start to think that way, I don't even know the best way to say it, because I don't know what could happen for you. And that's an amazing thing if you look at it in that way.
Yeah,
And, that's happened for both of us in terms of going to camp.
yeah,
And, that's happened for you going into your second one. It's happening
yeah,
for me right now with Nutri-iQ, because all this is super exciting. And,
yeah.
we don't know what the podcast is going to take us, but it's fun as you do it anyway, no matter what.
Exactly. It's a fun journey to be on, and I think that's the way you need to look at it. It's a fun experience, and I think that's one of the beauties of camp is that it attracts like-minded people. You know, camp is something for very adventurous people, people who want to do something fun, people who like working with kids, who like being outdoors, who like playing sports and being active, people who are very kind of loud and extroverted. And I think that's why we're very much the same, and why we get along so great and we think the same is because camping in and of itself attracts a certain person, and those qualities definitely come out in me and you.
Yeah, and hopefully, someone listening to this might be listening to what camp's like and think, oh my God, that sounds so good. But they just never been aware of it before. That's what it was for me. Wasn't
Yeah,
really aware of it. You weren't aware of it until you saw that post there. Maybe somebody listening to this isn't aware of it until they listen to this podcast. And if anyone is listening and thinking about that, I want them to know that I was 24 when I first went to camp. Most people are 18, 19. And so, you might be those few years older thinking, I'm too old for that now. That's what people do in uni. But I was 24 and I've been self-employed my entire adult life. That's just not true. Don't let anything like that be a barrier. If there's something you want to go and do, just go and do it, because who knows what's going to happen.
yeah, 100%. It's the same case with me now. Last year I was also 24. No, sorry, I was 23 last year. And you're right, everyone's 18, 19. They're fresh into uni and they have that summer period off, which is why they choose to do things like camp. And it was just like a running joke. Like everyone would call me like old man and stuff like that in like our department. We had like an athletics department, so football, hockey, lacrosse, all the sports were together. And I was like one of the oldest ones there, and they just called me old man because I was a couple of years older than them, and they were all 19, 18, still in uni. Where I was at the end of my time at uni and like coming up to
Yeah, yeah.
time to get like a real job kind of thing. But yeah, it's funny. People embrace it. People love everyone regardless of age, color, all that stuff. It doesn't matter at camp, and that's one of the things I just love about that place.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, it's just another kind of thing of that age is just a number. Nobody really cares that you're old man Z.
No, 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 absolutely not, absolutely not. The kids love that nickname. I love the nickname.
Yeah, yeah. Right. I feel like I want to sort of wrap things up on that high note. because it's some pretty good stuff we've been going over. So before we go, I mentioned this earlier on to you before we started the call, but can you think of one actionable tip that listeners could go away with to start working on? Because while the podcast is all about helping people learn more, clear the confusion around food, fitness, and feeling good and get their results their way, even though we want them to learn all those things, we want to be able to make sure people can go away and take action on things as well. So what one tip would you give to the listeners? And it may be something to do with trying something new, or it might be something to do with, parents getting kids to exercise, whatever you like. Hit us.
I think it's actually something you said earlier. It's just about reframing your attitude and your mindset. If you reframe something and look at something new as an opportunity for great enjoyment and something you're gonna love for the rest of your life, then that's all you need. That's all you need. You just need that mindset of, you know what, this could be something great. I could enjoy this, and who knows what fun things could come from it. So I think what I'd say is try and reframe your mindset of trying something new. Don't see the downsides, don't see the negatives, don't see the risks. See all the fun stuff about it. See it as something you could enjoy for the rest of your life. See it as a new chance to bond with your child. You can see it as something that could change your life for the better, not the worst.
I love it. Z, thanks for being on the show, mate.
Sure, my man. Loved it. Thank you very much for having me.
See you soon.
See ya, bro. Enjoy.
So what did you think of that? Inspiring? Exciting? Motivating? Hopefully it was at least one of those things, because all those things we spoke about are so true and something that I personally live by because it makes life exciting. When you're faced with a new opportunity or have a great idea, it can be easy to let the fear of what might go wrong stop you from taking action on that idea. But if you do that, you miss out on so much potential amazement in your life that you never saw coming. Just as a direct example, when I first thought about doing Camp America, I never expected to be catching up with a friend I made there 2 years later to do an interview for a podcast for a company I was about to be involved with the launch of. There is no way I would have ever imagined that as a possibility of something great to happen down the line. You know what I mean? When we feel those fears of embarrassment, of failure, of things not going well, they're just our brain's way of trying to protect us from that feeling in the future. But you have to remember that that's just one side of the coin. If we don't take chances, if we don't take those leaps, then the good stuff can't come out of it. And it's only by taking those leaps that amazing things happen. Just over 50 years ago, in 1969, the Apollo 11 rocket launched towards the moon. Sitting inside that rocket, Neil Armstrong didn't know if he'd make it to the moon. He didn't know if they'd land safely. He didn't know if he'd step out onto the surface of the moon to take that giant leap for mankind and return home safely to be able to tell the tale. But he did it anyway. And look what happened. He then inspired Elon Musk to create SpaceX, a company that just over 50 years later would take their own giant leap and launch the first people into space using reusable rockets. When Elon Musk created SpaceX, he didn't know if he'd be able to make that happen, but he did it anyway. Years before that, when Elon Musk helped create PayPal, he didn't know that they'd eventually be bought out by this company called eBay for $1.5 billion, and that money would then allow him to pave the way for the future of electric cars and revolutionize space travel. Not knowing what's going to happen is exactly why we need to take those leaps of faith. And really, that's exactly what we're doing right now here at Nutri-iQ. We know that the smart plan we've created has the potential to help millions of people all around the world eat better, manage their weight, and improve their health. But we don't know exactly how that's going to play out. We didn't know that we'd hit a bunch of technical issues at the last minute and have to delay our launch as a result, just like SpaceX did last Wednesday, by the way. But it's okay that that's happened. Having to delay our launch doesn't mean we pack up shop and call it quits. It means we make the best use of the extra time we've now got to make things even better. And if you can do that, if you can take those leaps of faith and find ways to turn the obstacles that come up along the way into not just solutions, but even make them beneficial, you will make amazing things happen. How about you take that next leap this Monday and try something new by downloading the Nutri-iQ app. If you've been struggling to manage your weight, trying to find a way to improve your health, but wound up feeling frustrated and confused about what works, maybe this is the leap you need. That step in a new direction that could lead you to amazing things you never expected. Every day next week, we're going to be running our launch competitions where you can win 6 months free on Smart Plan Plus. If you haven't already, join our email newsletter to make sure you're the first to know when you can download the Nutri-iQ app and get started, and join our daily competitions to win 6 months free on Smart Plan Plus. Just go to nutri-iq.net/newsletter to join our free email newsletter, or click the link in the show notes for this podcast or in the description of this video if you're watching online. That's everything from me for this week, everybody. Thanks for tuning in to Nutri-iQ Radio. If you haven't already, if you could leave us a review on iTunes, that would be amazing. If you're watching on YouTube, if you could give the video a like, that will be a massive help, and make sure you subscribe to the channel too. If you're listening to the show as a podcast, be sure to subscribe to the show so you don't miss out on future episodes. And if you want to follow us around social media, make sure you like our Facebook page and follow us on Instagram at Nutri-iQ without the dash. So it's goodbye from me, Shaun, for today. I hope you go and take that leap of faith this week, whatever it is for you, and I'll see you later.